All right. Victory Monday. Jets fans, what's happening? I am glad to see you. I am glad we are here. I am glad to tell you it is a Victory Monday. Isn't that the strangest thing? We get a win, and it's a large sliver of us that very, very disappointed. Very disappointed by the win. They don't like it, not one bit. And there are reasons for that, and we'll get into all that. Guys, but I'm happy to be here. This is episode 52 of Greenbean's Jets Pod. I have to tell you that I've been enjoying so much, just so much, getting to know so many of you. I welcome all the new viewers. They come every single week, and for that I am grateful. And I hope that I can add some value to your New York Jets fan experience. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. The Jets try to squeeze your soul, man. Yeah, they just squeeze you, don't they? But we have each other, and that's why I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with you, and we have lots to talk about. Obviously, we have the big win this week. The Jets have now doubled their win total from the previous season. We wanted progress. We wanted it. We beat two really good teams, two division-leading teams, and we beat two of our peers on the bottom rung. We've done that. We've also seen a quarterback develop. We've seen an offensive coordinator develop. We've seen a head coach kind of develop. We've seen some defensive guys develop. We've seen so much. So we're going to talk about that game. We're also going to talk about our brand new, fresh out of the box head coach, Mr. Ron Middleton. We're going to get into Jason Pinnock. We're going to get into Michael Carter. Oh my God, Michael Carter. Come on. We're going to talk about him in some detail, and we're also going to talk about, you guessed it, Isaiah Williams. Come on. Come on with Isaiah Williams. We want to look at this pipeline that we've been developing. Isaiah Williams has been on it. There are more. There are more that the happen by Jets fan doesn't really know about. Isaiah Williams is one. We can talk about him in some detail as well. But guys, before we do, I want to let you know that this episode of Greenbean's Jets Pod is brought to you by my new sponsor, and we're going to get right into letting you know who they are and what they have going on right now. Guys, DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to New York, and it's not going to be long until you can take a shot on all your favorite sports teams right here in New York on the world-famous DraftKings sports betting app. We all already know DraftKings from their daily fantasy contests, and now they've gone and brought their expertise to sports betting so sports fans everywhere can get in on the action. DraftKings Sportsbook offers everything you could possibly want in a sports betting app, from player props to same-game parlays. They have it all. In just a short time, you'll be able to wager on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home on one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and best of all, you can deposit or withdraw your cash whenever you want. So check out DraftKings Sportsbook and tell them I sent you by using promo code GreenBean. That's promo code GreenBean. DraftKings Sportsbook, coming soon to New York State. And don't forget, the information to our new sponsor, DraftKings, is right in the description of this very video, right on top. You will see it, and don't forget to use my promo code GreenBean, and that'll get you in there. Thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring this episode of Greenbean's Jets Pod. And I also want to remind you about the contest. When this episode comes out, we will be at the 1-year birthday of this very channel. 1 year already. Where has the time gone? It's gone everywhere. It's been all over the place. We've seen so much, but 1 year it is. Nonetheless, no matter what took place, time, it just doesn't stop now, does it? So time got us right here to 1 year. December 27th, 2021 is my 1 year of this channel on YouTube, and we're trying to wrap up this year with 5,000 subscribers. Now, this is bittersweet because I did gain quite a few, almost 700 subscribers since we started this contest. Unfortunately, I will not meet the goal on December 27th, so we'll keep it going. The goal will be met. I see it. It's coming. It happens every single day. We didn't make the time goal, but we will make the mark. And once we do that, you can win a t-shirt of your choice from the GreenBeanjetsfan.com merch store, and one grand prize winner will win that t-shirt plus the Manscaped Ultra Smooth package. And won't that be nice? Won't that be nice? But thank you to all who subscribed. All you have to do is subscribe right here on Greenbean's YouTube channel and go over to my other channel, Full-Time Coaster Tour, and hit that subscribe button there, and you are entered. If you want an extra entry, you just need to follow me on my Instagram, GreenBeanJetsfan, and that will be that. So here we are, everybody. We now have the first section of this podcast. We're going to get into section 1, which we're affectionately labeling the Intelligent Gripe. Let's see. We have a victory this week. Now, what were Jets fans saying prior to the game? They were saying things like, I want to lose this game. Some people were saying, I want to win this game. Some people were saying, I'm okay with losing if Zach Wilson, Michael Carter, if we look good on offense and we end up losing in the nail biter, that's fine. And other people were saying that no matter what, if we win, it's a bad move. I don't want to do it because of draft position and all that sort of stuff. So I've been in some conversations since the end of the game via Twitter and some Instagram stuff and some text messages. I've been doing that too. We've hit a bypass here. We've hit a hurdle, an obstacle, if you will. The New York Jets are now 4-11 after a 26-21 victory over the Trevor Lawrence-led Jaguars. And look, it brings us to 2 wins more than we won last year, doubling our win total from the last season. And look, some people were saying 12-5 out of the door, right? We thought it was going to be a 12-win season. Some said, come on, that's crazy. We're never going to win 12 games. 11-6. 11-6. That's as good as we can get. Then people said, no, I'm really feeling like 10 wins and all that jazz. And we went round and round about it. Truth is, I thought we would probably get to 8, 9 if the ball really bounced in our favor. I knew that wasn't going to happen. As soon as Carl Lawson went down and Becton called him and AVT the Sinister Smash Bros, I was like, yep, that's the end of that. That we'll never see that this year. I knew that, and that's what happened. You remember I made videos about it. So we had a rough year, man. Injuries. We had all kinds of learning curves. We started out as a 21-22 personnel offense. We abandoned that week 4, went to an 11 personnel offense. Lots of trial and error. Lots and lots of stuff. We had a rookie quarterback with the most sacks, the most hurries, and the most pressures, and the most hits. And of any quarterback in the NFL his first 3 or 4 weeks. Okay? That's how we started this one. And we've been up and we've been down. We watched our old quarterback, Sam Darnold, throw a bomb to our old wide receiver, Robbie Anderson. And they did the Jet thing. Yay, rub it in your face. Remember all that stuff? We've been through it all. We've been through it all. But here we are. 4 wins with 2 games left. So theoretically, we could get to 6 wins, which was really what I thought. That's what I was hoping for. You know, like I said, if the ball bounces the right way, we can get to 8, 9 wins. That's what I thought, honestly. Then more than likely, the ball won't bounce our way. And like I said, in the beginning of the season, we had a pretty good idea that the ball was not bouncing our way. We were losing dudes by the dozen, it felt like. They were just dropping like flies. So we have this game where we played the Jaguars. And if you just take a second, I want to call you back to another game where we played another one of our, what I like to call our peers. We have these teams that are at our level. The Detroit Lions, the Texans, the Jaguars, right? These are the teams in our pocket, right? We had to blow it up. We brought it down, as Frankie from Flatbush likes to say, down to the studs. That's what Joe Douglas has been doing. That's why I don't really buy into the idea that, you know, look at his win total over the first 2 years. The guy sucks. Like I don't buy into that because I know what I'm watching. I know I'm seeing a guy tear down a team, tear down an organization that has been so poorly built. He can't just redo the roof. He can't just repaint the walls, man. Can't do it. He's looked at it for a year, said, okay, maybe this Sam Darnold guy is good. Maybe I already have Jamal Adams and Marcus May. Maybe Leo. I got some guys here. Maybe. He watched them flounder around the field and suck. And he said, you know what, man? I got to blow it up. I got to blow this whole thing up. The house has been built crooked. I cannot put a roof on a crooked house. I got to gut it. And he gutted it. Trying to get, wins and stuff. It's secondary. It's secondary. We spent some premium draft capital. Draft capital, I may add, which was attained by blowing it up, selling off guys like Jamal Adams, Leo Williams, Chris Herndon, Sam Darnold to the highest bidder. To the highest bidder. He got 2 firsts and a third for this guy. He made our 6th a 4th for that guy. He got a 2nd and a 4th and a 6th for this guy. He got a 3rd and a 5th for that guy. He got a 5th. He got a 7th. He got a 6th. That's what he's doing. Avery Williamson, McClendon, Jared Willis, all these guys. He compiles draft capital and he uses it on some people, which could effectively be called the first core acquisitions of the rebuild, right? Obviously, Becton and Mims, and they were all part of it, okay? And we don't know where their careers are going to go. Injuries and all that stuff. It's looking rough. But when you have the 2nd overall pick and you use it on a quarterback, then you have another 1st round pick and you use it on a left guard. Then you grab a wide receiver with your 2nd round pick. Then you grab a new running back. And then you grab what feels like 30, 40 cornerbacks. He just brings them all in. Late round picks. Come on, we gotta play these guys now. They're late round picks. We gotta accelerate their development period. And that's what we're seeing this year. Stick them all on the field. They're gonna take their lumps together as a team. We're gonna focus on keeping them together. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just weather their inexperience, all their mistakes. They're going to learn from it right on the field, right before our eyes. Job number 1 is keeping the glue together, keeping these guys on the same page, believing in one another. So when we have this season, we got a few pieces, okay? You got 1 or 2 holdovers from the previous regime that are worth anything. You got Quinn Williams, you got CJ Mosley, maybe a Fadu Kasi, right? Maybe some backup action with Chuma Edoga. Some of that stuff floating around. Marcus May, who knew? So you got these guys and it's like, okay, now we have to start building this team. More than likely, we're going to get our ass kicked by the Patriots. We're going to get beat up by the good teams that we play. Just so happened that we trapped a couple, the Titans and the Bengals, and we beat them. We beat them. Now, those teams look like juggernauts right now, but we beat them. And then when we play teams like the Texans, like the Jaguars, that's the real litmus test. That's when you got to say, okay, where are these guys? Can we beat the Texans? Can we beat the Jaguars? Yes, they have Trevor Lawrence. Yes, they have a very good running back. Yes, they have some pieces. Can we beat them? Where we are, we're at similar places in the rebuild. Similar. Maybe not identical, but similar. We're at similar places. Can we beat these teams? Because that's what we want to see. So a couple of weeks ago, Zach comes out, his first game back, and he's atrocious the first week. The first half. He's atrocious the first half. And then he comes out the second half. The Jets have 18 unanswered points. He looks really, really good, and we win. And what was the main narrative led by the boycott the beat and some Jets fans that just, I don't know, they don't seem to see things correctly. All right. So what are they saying? We didn't win right. They didn't like it. I don't like this win. This win doesn't do anything for me. Why? Because it's the Texans. They're 2-8. Well, we're 2-8. You do know that we're 2-8. So what do we have to do to make it a good win? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like how Zach looked. I don't like how the defense looked. I don't think the running backs are good. I don't like LaFleur. Albrecht needs to go. # fire Albrecht, right? All that stuff. But we beat him. Come out the next game against the Eagles. Zach has his best half of his young career. Now we end up losing the game, defense, all the stuff that happened. I don't got to go through it by detail. But we beat the Texans. We have a couple rough games. We look really good in Miami. Blow it. You know what I mean? Things like that. We're clawing, scratching, fighting, and we're putting up some good games. We're putting up some clunkers like the Saints. And here we are and we play the Jaguars. You got the number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson. It just so happens to be the COVID Bowl. A lot of people thought they shouldn't even have played this game. There were so many people not active for this game on both sides, mainly the Jets, though. I think it was 20 players, something like that. Crazy town, all the inactives we had. But we played nonetheless because the NFL is like, we're not delaying this turd fest. We need to get past these games. We want to get to the playoffs, man. We're not delaying you. Shut up. Just suit up and get your guys out there. The Jets had 2 starting defensive backs that don't even have pictures on the website yet. That's how new they are. They're like, well, I got to take my picture. Like, hell no, you got to learn this defense. You can't take 8 minutes and go learn that. No. Get over here and learn the damn defense. And we stuck them out there and watched them roll. Okay, that's where we are. We had, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, everybody's out. We had Zach, we had Michael Carter. Okay, that's what we had. Denzel Mims, but I don't know what's going on with him. This year's toast for that guy. So this is what we have. We got guys to watch. We have guys to continue to develop, and we got to see what they can do against this Jaguars team. We go out there. Now, Zach throws for 100 yards. All right. But he also rushes for 100 yards. He has the longest rushing touchdown for a Jets quarterback in our history. He also has the longest rushing touchdown by a quarterback since 2015. So think about that. Todd Bowles was our head coach back then. We had the likes of Brandon Marshall. Kyler Murray wasn't even in the league. Lamar Jackson. These guys didn't exist as far as the NFL goes. That's how long it's been since a quarterback. So all the great things that those 2 quarterbacks I just mentioned have done, they've never run for a touchdown as long as what Zach Wilson did today. It's historic, I tell you. So he has 100 yards on the ground, super creative offense, lots of running. Well, the rushing attack was working today. Zach throws a touchdown to Connor McDermott. Woo! Why wouldn't he? We have no receivers. Everybody's dropping pass. Jeff Smith gets a shot. He drops a pass. Denzel Mims drops a pass. Tyler Kroft gets back in. He drops passes. So we get creative and we throw it to a guy who's, he's declared eligible for the play. I mean, when other people do it to us, we call it creative. Today we throw look what we had to do to score. Crap. It sucks. Don't forget, we're still looking at an offensive coordinator trying to find solutions. So Zach throws for 100 and a touchdown. He runs for 100 and a touchdown. Michael Carter gets his first 100-yard rushing day, but his third 100-yard from scrimmage day. First running back to do that for the Jets since Leon Washington. And it's not a good win. Now, let's boil this down to its brass tacks. Boil it all down. Okay, we boil it down, we reduce it to its purest form. The reason why people don't want to win this game as Jets fans is because you want draft position so you can have a choice of the players that you want in the draft, right? That's what it is. Now, today's game just so happened to be the most bang for the buck that a win versus a loss was going to provide out of the remaining games on the schedule, period. This was the Jaguars. They have the number 1 pick. If we lose to them, a lot flips. The Texans won today. The Lions lost today. So we got some opportunity for shakeup here. If we lost, we go to the number 2 overall pick. If we win, it's the number 4 overall pick at best. So we're stuck with the 4th overall pick. I get it. 2 picks in the draft, especially that high, is significant. It is. Nobody's going to deny that. Nobody's going to deny that. But we don't know what's going to happen. We still don't know what's going to happen. We could win out. Unlikely. The Texans can win out. Just beat the Chargers today. Detroit could win. Jacksonville. There are 2 games left, guys. We have no idea what's going to go on. We have no idea. And I understand. Let's look at worst case scenario if we're at pick number 4. Pick number 4. There are really 3 true blue chippers as it stands now. 3 real blue chippers in this draft. And that's Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, and Kyle Hamilton. Those are the three blue chippers, potentially generational and all that jazz. Now, yes, you have Linderbaum, you have Stingley, you have Evan Neal, you even got Kenyon Green. So there's some very, very good players in this draft. But I think the large consensus feels that the top three in this draft, and quarterbacks aside, are Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Hamilton. So if we're sitting at 4 and worst case scenario happens, Aiden Hutchinson goes off, Thibodeau goes off, and Hamilton goes off. And then what does it look like? See, we had to beat the damn Jaguars, right? We had to do it in a useless game. Why did we win? Now, let me point out the other side of this. What's the positive of winning this game? What is it? Before we get into everything, I want you to know. Generally speaking, I'm a tanker. I've been rooting for the tank for at least 4 years. Maybe 3. Tank. Winning useless games at the end of a lost season is dumb. But that's not what this is. I need you to understand the distinction between a year like last year, Walking Dead coach, Sam Darnold at the end of his 3rd year of mediocrity at best, Brashad Perryman, Frank Gore, all those guys. There's a significant difference between that and Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter II, Bryce Hall, Quinnen Williams, Bryce Huff, Javelin Guidry, Pinnock, Brandon Eccles, AVT, Beck. There's a significantly different year going on right now than we've seen the last, I'm going to say 3 years. Those teams had nothing going on. They were complete tear. You knew it. We have to almost flip the entire roster. Winning now is dumb. The positive of winning this game for this team is belief. I'm going to tell you something. The number one way to destroy hope and belief is affirmation that this place, nothing's going to happen here. You're never going to succeed here. It's never going to happen, no matter how hard you work, how many great guys you put on the team, great leaders, great this, great that. It's never going to work. Just wait till you can get out of here and bail. Nothing takes away hope and belief quite like that. Quite like no matter what you do, the ball always bounces the wrong way in this place. Nothing works quite like that. But what's happening here is you see belief starting to take place. Like, for example, people giving Zach Wilson just the hardest time this year. Started out with the 15 sacks and on and on and on. First 5 games, 9 interceptions. Myriad sacks. Last 6 games, 2 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 3 through the ground. You can see the belief starting to take place. You can see the hope. You want to know what belief looks like? Let me tell you. Belief looks like the pocket collapsing yet again, him not being able to find anybody, scrambling out like he does, running for the first down, seeing the linebacker barreling at him and thinking to himself, you know what? I can make this. I'm going to keep going. I don't have to go out of bounds. You can see it in the guy's eyes. You can see it in the linebacker's eyes. He's already turning the engine off. He thinks I'm going out, and I'm not gonna. And he runs past him, the guy, hey, you're supposed to go out of bounds. What are you doing? He keeps going. And now there's another guy. There's one more guy to beat. Sees him, jukes him, and 52 yards later in the end zone for a touchdown. That's belief. If he didn't believe, why the hell would he would go out of bounds? I got the first. That's all I need to do. I'm not risking my body. I'm not going to take the chance of getting walloped on the sideline. For what? This place sucks. This team sucks. Nobody cares. They're going to rip me no matter what I do. That run, that's what belief looks like. When belief starts to take place, guys are willing to put that extra inch, the extra drop of effort. Could you imagine what it would feel like today? For these guys, they lost that tough one in Miami. They got beat up by the Saints before that. You lose a tough one in against the Eagles because your kicker we couldn't do extra points and just the whole thing. So we lose to the Eagles, we lose to the Saints, we lose to Miami, then we lose to the worst team in the league, to the Jaguars. You think we're winning the next 2 games against the Bucs and the Bills playing for the AFC East? Ain't happening, guys. This was the last chance to do anything for this team. Could you imagine what it felt like to play their asses off like they did today and lose? So many Jets fans were rooting for the Jags to score that last second touchdown, 4th and goal with seconds left. You're rooting for the team to score? Do you know what that would do to this team? Losing to the Jags like that, then the inevitable shellacking they're going to take against the Bucs, and then probably the Bills as well. That's the way you want to end the season? Do you know the taste that would be in their mouth? Going into the offseason with your tail between your legs, licking your wounds, nothing positive the whole second half of the season? No. This winning today is paying attention to the long term. This is the game that carries over. This was the last chance. You're playing a team at your level. You played your ass off. You have myriad injuries. You got 20 guys on COVID. Your head coach isn't even here. And you guys rose above it and beat them on the backs of 2 rookies and Tevin Coleman and an old man. Zach Wilson, Michael Carter, a hodgepodge line. They did it on their backs. Everybody talking about Zach not throwing through the air or whatever else. He didn't need to. They beat him on the ground because it was the smart game. We were decimated in the receiving core. So they made a safe game plan, a smart game plan, and they did it. This was the important thing to do. I understand the tank better than everybody. I understand jostling for picks and wanting that extra jump up more than anybody. But when you're paying attention to the reality of this team, they needed this. This is the thing that carries over into the offseason and gives them the desire to work that much harder. Look how close we came. Dude, we were on to something at the end there. We were on to something. When we played the teams that are in our tier, we beat them. We beat them. We had no head coach, and we beat them. We had no offensive line, and we beat them. The defensive line was hurt. We were down to our 6th and 7th safeties. Guys, we had to sign off the street we're playing, and we beat them. We're on to something here. We are the guys that are going to beat this Jets curse thing. We are the guys. And when the next crop of young guys comes in and they are inevitably flooded with the negative press and all the crazy Jets fans that say, you suck, I wanted a different guy in the draft, you're a piece of shit, which you know happens. When they're flooded with that stuff, these other guys, the Zach Wilsons, the AVTs, the Michael Carters, the Elijah Moores, the Brandon Eccles, the Bryce Halls, they could say, nah, man, don't listen to any of that crap. None of that is real. We know the potential here. We know what hard work does. Guys, today's win is paying attention to the long term. Another draft pick, so we get Karlaftis. So we get Linderbaum. You know what I mean? We're getting a great player at a position of need up top. Settle down. Everybody needs to settle down. And you still have no idea how the draft is going to go. None. The Detroit Lions take a quarterback. It's all up in the air. And if the Texans win and we lose, we're number 3. It's not worth crying over. This was the most important thing that it could have happened today. Take that to the bank, stuff it in a pipe, and smoke it. Plus, the quarterbacks haven't even done their yearly rise thing yet. We still have bowl games. We still got pro days. We still got the combine. You'll see. The story is not written. There's no reason to react. There's no reason to attach finite feelings to a temporary situation, my friends. And even if this does end with this being where we stand, so be it. It's all going to work out for the better because belief and hope are more powerful than your draft slots. So there you have it. So now let's take a look. There are box scores galore. They're out there. We see stats. We see PFF. We have next-gen stats. We have all kinds of stuff. But they don't always tell the whole story. So I want to tell you a little story about our New York Jets, in particular, one young man named Zach Wilson at the tip of this one, but it'll bleed down to everybody. Let's get into the real box score, the reality score. So as you look at the box score for this one, the Jets beat the Jaguars, and Zach Wilson has the numbers that look like this. 14 for 22, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Remember the first 5 games of his career, he had 9 interceptions. In the last 6 games of his career, he has 2. When you're looking for progress, there it is. But let's expand on this box score. If you just look at that, you say, dude, this guy is terrible. 100 yards. 100 yards, 14 for 22. Well, there were 3, at least 3, that I can think of right now. Drops, big-time drops. One, Jeff Smith, poor fella. His only opportunity of the day, perfect pass right in the gullet. If you watch the replay, just take a look. He does that thing that we see so many times with inexperienced, young, or just flat-out sucky wide receivers. The ball's coming, and they look away before it's in their hand. Why? Because they were scared. He was scared. You know, what are you going to do? So Jeff Smith had probably a 15-yard gain, give or take. He could have kept running, too. He might have gotten a whole bunch of yak. Who knows? At least a first down. Instead, we punted, and Zach Wilson gets one of those 22 dropbacks, goes down as you guessed it, an incomplete pass. Now, Tyler Kroft, he had an okay game. He did. I mean, he did some nice blocking, some real key blocks. Let me see. Tyler Kroft also had 3 receptions for 29 yards, but he did have 5 targets, one of which was just a terrible drop. Everybody was saying, including the announcers, oh, that was a terrible pass by Zach Wilson. He's got to figure out how to get it down to his receiver's head. Baloney. Tyler Kroft didn't even leave his feet. He reached up. So what? He had to reach up where only he could get it. It hit him right here where I teach my son to catch it. You know, this position, this is perfect. He was right there. The ball went right between his 2 mitts, and he popped it up, and it was almost an interception. Thank goodness, because guess who would have got dinged for that one? Not Tyler Kroft. It would have went down as a Zach Wilson interception. So he had 3 drops, so that brings it up to 17 for 22, probably for $150 or so. Just those alone, okay? Just those alone. But that's not even the rest of the reality score. The reality score goes like this. Zach Wilson also had 4 rushes for 91 yards and a touchdown, an average of 22.8. But it's not just the fact that he got 91 yards on the ground. Here's the truth of it, is that we've seen Zach Wilson's elite escapability becoming more and more a very legitimate aspect of who he is. In the first 3 games, it was pure panic. We said, holy cow, this guy's running for his life. But he was actually running. He was breaking tackles. He was eluding pass rushers. He was doing it. But it looked like panic in the beginning. And I got to admit, it was. He had no idea his introduction to the NFL was going to be anything like that. He thought he had the Smash Bros. That's what he thought. Where's the Smash Bros? Well, they weren't working. Greg Van Roten wasn't working. We had George Fant on the right side. That was a big mess. Okay, AVT was in his first game. Nobody knew the line assignments. They were a mess, and Zach Wilson was running for his life. But as the weeks progressed, Zach Wilson has become more and more adept at getting out of sticky situations. It's a very real part of who he is and a major benefit. Now, granted, we'd rather see our quarterback not have to run for his life. Fair enough. We would rather see him be able to just stay in the pocket 3, 4, 5 seconds, laser it in. Of course we would. But the fact that this skill has had to be at the forefront, he doesn't look like Sam Darnold. It's not a happy feet panic escape. He's able to elude pass rushers. He lets them think they're going to get the sack, and he bails out of there, and a lot of the time ends up hitting somebody or escaping and being able to get outside and run for a few yards or what have you. Over the past couple weeks, we've seen a change, a shift. Remember, just a few weeks ago, Zach Wilson was lambasted for not taking all the yards that he could on a quarterback run where he slid 10 yards too early. Remember? Why would he slide early? Because he's tired of getting his head ripped off. He's unsure. All those things. Today, it culminated. It kind of all came together. Zach Wilson's calmness the last couple weeks. It started in the second half of the Texans game. Continued through the Eagles game. Last week, he was very calm as well. So, against Miami. So, today, he is able to utilize that very, very important and valuable skill. And he takes it outside. And like I shared with you a few minutes ago, he decided to believe. I don't have to go out of bounds. I don't have to. And I don't want to. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to. Ran another 15 yards as that guy said, "What do you mean? I thought you were supposed to go out of bounds." No, I didn't feel like it. The next guy, he just flat out jukes and he dives on his face and Zach Wilson goes in the end zone. So those yards, while again, we would rather see him be able to pass down the field. But if we can't, because he's down to his 6th, 7th, and 8th wide receivers, okay? If we can't, because they can't get separation, they're not open, or the offensive line lets guys blow past them or what have you, whatever the reason, the fact that at any time he can take that, avoid the sack, and get yards like that, and now he's confident enough to take it all the way to the house. And the other one, it was a first down. And we saw it last week too. How excited was Zach Wilson after juking 3, 4 defensive players? Remember that? He's becoming confident before our eyes. No, he didn't have a 100-yard day. He had a 200-yard day with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Again, maybe not the numbers we hope to see on what we're trying to claim as a positive day. At the same time, he didn't need to. Why? Because we had our rushing day. Michael Carter had a breakout game. This was his breakout game. The most carries of his young career, 16 carries, 118 yards for a 7.4 yard average. That's what we're talking about. And don't forget, a lot of those yards were all Michael Carter. Number 2 in the NFL at making people miss. Number 2, guys. That's a very important stat. Michael Carter actually earned every one of those 118 yards. Just so we're clear, Michael Carter also had 2 receptions as well, but it was really on the ground. But in addition to Michael Carter having his first 100-yard game, his third 100-yard performance from scrimmage, Tevin Coleman also had 14 rushes for 57 yards and a 4.1 yard average. So guys, guess what didn't need to happen today when we were decimated by COVID with our offensive line and wide receiver core? We didn't have to have a passing day because our running game took it over. And quite frankly, it's nice to see the running game be able to take over a game. Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman took care of business. We had 30 rushes, 16 for Carter, 14 for Coleman, and then we got the 4 from Zach and the 1 from Braden Mann on the fake field goal, which, hey, it didn't work, but that was fun. And Braxton Berrios had 1 for 3 yards. We're utilizing him a little bit these days in different scenarios, which is nice to see. So, guys, the real tale of the tape, the real box score is this. Zach Wilson didn't have to be dependent on today because the team worked well around him. And that's what we want to see. But with the things that he had to do, guys, 14 for 22, really 17 for 22. If you're asking me, for $150, even though it was only 102, for 2 touchdowns, 1 in the air, 1 on the ground, and we win. So there you have it. That's the actual tale of the tape. Now, just to round it out, we saw Connor McDermott claim eligibility. Connor McDermott reports in as eligible. And he caught come on. That was almost as good as a Jumbo Elliott touchdown. He showed acrobatic leaping ability. Great hands, soft. And I think it's great. Tevin Coleman had a reception for 4 yards. Connor McDermott, obviously. We had Keelan Cole chime in, 2 for 25 yards on 2 targets. And Tyler Kroft, as I said, had 3 for 29 on 5 targets and some drops. So what does it really mean? What does it really mean? Does it mean that we're great? Does it mean that Zach is done, developing? No, it doesn't mean any of that. It means that what we were looking for this year, the progression that everybody's talking about, is happening right before your eyes. And let me tell you another secret. If we did lose this game, we had to give it to them. We had to. Because guess what? We were better. Even with our 20 guys out, even with all of our injuries, we're a better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is going to be fine. The kid, he's got so much talent. You can see it all over him. He's a beautiful passer, throws a great ball, all that jazz. Once he's got everything, they had a tumultuous season down there. He's going to be fine. But we were the better team today, and we're a better team than the Jaguars, period. We're way ahead of them, in my opinion. And that's a good thing to see, because you'd think by how Jets fans and the media arguing and how they treat us and everything and all the narratives that we read, you'd think we are the worst team in the NFL, and guess what? We're not. Evidenced by the fact that we already beat the Texans, we already beat the Jaguars, and we've beaten two very good teams as well. Guys, we're not the worst team in the NFL, and we shouldn't have the number 1 overall pick. That's the way that this goes. At some point, you got to get out of the basement, and we're still there, but we're sitting on the steps as opposed to laying on the concrete floor. Makes sense? So we had some defensive interesting stuff. Today, we started 2 safeties that don't even have team pictures already. Like I said, that's really interesting. Will Parks, he's in there. Kaya Nakua, he's in there. All kinds of guys. Freedom Akamaladen Akamaladin's in there. These are guys that played today. Leroy Reynolds, he was in there. All kinds of fun stuff. So the fact that we can complain about anything, it blows my mind. Look at what we had to overcome today. This is a great team win, guys. This is the kind of thing that you want to see. This is the kind of thing that you hope to see. I understand better than anybody about wanting draft picks. I get it. I'm still mad at that game that Mangini won at the end of the year. We could have gotten Chris Long instead of Vernon Golston. I'm still mad about that, but what are you going to do? All right, this is different. We're building a team. We're building a team, and it's good to see these guys win. Now, we saw another experiment today. We saw Jason Pinnock play a little bit of safety, and guess what? He looked pretty damn good. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that he stays at safety for the remainder of the season. I think that might be something for Jason Pinnock. He's a big-bodied guy, long strides, hits hard, short tackler, all those things. Maybe he's like a Lamar Jackson with the game in front of him. It's a whole different player. Maybe that's what's going on. Sometimes you just happen into something. Be nice to have a safety on the team already, or at least somebody that we feel confident can play it when we're drafting other guys. When Ashton Davis comes back, who has looked improved every week as well. When we draft Kyle Hamilton or maybe Jordan Battle, one of these guys, Serene, one of these guys come in, and we already got Pinnock on the squad. That would be real nice to see. So he had a decent day. Bryce Hall had another decent day with a pass defense. It's a really important pass defense as well. That would have been a touchdown. He stopped it. So Bryce Hall's having himself a nice season. And let me tell you who else. Eddie Pinheiro. Yes, we had the extra point blocked. Don't know how much of that was his fault. But guys, 2 for 2 on field goals. We might have ourselves a kicker. I don't want to get ahead of myself or anything, but that is certainly nice to see. I hate losing games when the whole team does something and then the kicker just can't seem to get it. going and we lose the game because of one person's toes. I don't like it. I don't like the whole thing coming down to 1 foot, you know? So it's nice to see Eddie Pinheiro. But guys, let's get to the end of this one. I want to talk to you about the moment of the week. Let's talk about the moment. As we know, we had a first-time head coach the team today because of the COVID protocols, and our head coach, Robert Saleh, couldn't be there. But he was there in spirit, and at the end of the day, he was there on closed-circuit television. They still call it that. Is that still a thing? I don't know. Closed-circuit TV. That's how I used to watch WrestleMania, on closed-circuit TV. But so he was able to be in the locker room with the players and help our brand new head coach, 1-0 Ron Middleton, cap the game and give a nice speech to the players. And let's take a look at that for the moment of the week.
Big day. Coach Middleton,
yes,
what an unbelievable effort.
Yes,
Your inspiration at halftime, they got it there, man.
Well, I appreciate your effort, man. Hell of a job. You should be proud of yourself.
I'm so proud of everybody. I mean, it's been a hell of a year watching this damn game, but whatever it freaking takes, offense, I freaking love the way y'all ran the ball today, man. That was freaking awesome. How about Braxton?
So guys, I hope you're able to compartmentalize this properly. I hope you're able to put it all in the right places. Today was a very important day for this young squad of New York Jets. The guys that we're hoping are here for the long haul, that can overcome this Jets curse thing and all the baloney that we deal with as fans and as this organization has dealt with. Maybe these are the guys. This was a very important day, a very important step forward for this crew as we try to climb out of the basement. This was a good one. Zach Wilson and Michael Carter lead the charge on our way to doubling our win total from last year. 2 games left. How will it go? Guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Don't forget about the contest. This is the best time to subscribe. All you got to do is subscribe right here and over at Full Time Coaster Tour on YouTube, and you are in. Don't forget about my brand new sponsor, DraftKings. The information is right in the description. Go ahead and use promo code GreenBean and let them know I sent you. And as always, you can support me on Patreon. Guys, I have such exciting news on Patreon. It's going to be a fantastic 2022 for my patrons. And thanks to everybody who already does it. I appreciate it more than you know. And with that all said, guys, I hope you're having a great week. And go Jets.